Hey guys, it's Rodimus Primal. I am back with another video, and today I'm going to try and cover a lot of this Toy Fair news that happened that I missed out on, and I want to talk a lot about it. So sit back, relax, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and let's transform and roll out. Okay, so the first thing that I want to address is the fact that I was sick during the weekend of New York Toy Fair, so I was home, sick in bed. My son got sick, and then he gave it to me, and then my daughter got sick, my wife got sick, so it was a mess. And I was really trying to get this Omega Supreme video finished so that it would be up in time for New York Toy Fair, but unfortunately that didn't happen. But now I'm feeling a lot better. I was able to get that video done, and now I'm going to cover a lot of this news. But before I do that, I got a package in the mail from a Vu Don from Hawthorne, California. I do have a P.O. box, so I'm going to open this up and see what he sent me. Okay, so what he sent me was the Siege War for Cybertron Micromaster 2-pack of Whisper and Stormcloud. For those of you who don't know, Whisper's name was Whisper in G1, so that's what I'm going to be calling him. But it is cool to get this as a 2-pack. I can actually add him to one of the Decepticons as a sword, which is a pretty cool feature. Another toy that I did not mention that I got in my P.O. box, but I did not mention in the video, was from James Redhouse of Louisville, Kentucky. Sent me Nova Star. Thank you very much for that. I'm gonna call her Firestar, as she should be, but you know, it's very awesome that I can add her to the Elita 1 combiner. So thank you very much for sending me all of those. The first bit of news is something that I have been covering on this channel, going back and forth on, because, well, the producers have been going back and forth on it, and that has to do with the Bumblebee movie. I originally had said that the Bumblebee movie looks like it's going to be a reboot. Then they went off and said that no, it's a prequel. Then they went back and said it was a reboot, and then they went back again and said it's a prequel. Well, after Lorenzo Di Bonaventura said that no, well, I don't believe that this is a reboot, Brian Goldner at New York Toy Fair got up on stage and said that this is a new storytelling universe, which is a really interesting way of getting around the way of saying the word reboot. You could just say the word reboot. It is what it is. It's like they don't want to say that scary word reboot when that's what the movie is. But you know what? I honestly, this is the way that I look at the movie. It could fit as a prequel to the 2007 movie if you force it, since continuity in Michael Bay films doesn't really work very well. But you know, if you want it to be a reboot, which I believe that it's a reboot, then yeah, it's definitely a reboot. So that's how I view it. The next thing that they showed off at New York Toy Fair, they showed off a lot of the toys that I showed in this video before, and now they showed a lot more, and I was really hyped, excited. I want to see more. I can't wait to see more toys out of it. I'm excited for it completely. First of all, they showed off Sideswipes' first repaint, and that is Red Alert, which you can see here. It is obviously a straight repaint. The original G1 toy of Red Alert was just a repaint of Sideswipe, and he looks fantastic. And I really dig the new Sideswipe toy. I haven't gotten my hands on him yet, because I do have the classics mold of him as well as Sunstreaker. So I'm on the fence about whether or not to get this new Sideswipe toy, but I do want to get my hands on Red Alert. And they also showed off Thundercracker, which I believe that I covered in my last video, but now having an official image of him is nice, a little bit clearer than before. And the next one, before I do, I want to talk about this guy. This is the 30th anniversary Springer, and here is the brand new Siege Springer as a triple changer, and he looks awesome. Pure G1 Springer. He just looks absolutely fantastic, and as much as I like the 30th anniversary version of Springer, I want to get my hands on this one. This one I definitely want to have in my collection because it is more accurate to the original cartoon. I'm more excited about this version of Springer. The next thing that they showed with, you can actually order him now, is the Generation Selects G2 Combat Megatron. And it's basically the Siege Megatron that turns into a tank, but they gave him a remolded head. And you can see he's got a different color scheme and it's supposed to be based on a canceled G2 toy. It was supposed to be a recolor of the first G2 Combat Megatron, and this was the color scheme that they were going to go, use. And you can get it. And to be honest with you, it's not my thing. Some people are like, yeah, they really want it. For me personally, there's only two versions of Megatron that I would want, and that is a G1 styled Megatron and a G2 green with purple camo tank Megatron with the shoulder cannon, the big giant shoulder cannon. So those are the two, versions of Megatron that I think that work best for me. I know a lot of people are fans of the Armada Megatron, which you have the Combiner Wars, remold of Armada Megatron, and then you have, I know a lot of people would like to see the Cybertron Megatron done in this line, and that would be pretty cool because he's a triple changer, turning into a car and a jet. Pretty much it's the Batmobile, and maybe the Batwing is pretty much what Cybertron Megatron is. The next two Siege toys they showed off were Battle Masters, and the first one is Caliburst, which is a straight repaint of Blowpipe. And if you know who Caliburst is, he was supposed to go with Slugslinger, but the Titans Return toy does not come with him. So if you did pick up Slugslinger and you wanted to get your hands on the Target Master for him, which is Caliburst, you can get your opportunity to do so unless you already got the Japanese Legends version. They also showed off a new one called Smashdown, and he looks pretty much like Ironhide with a Minotaur face, and he turns into a hammer, which is going to be really cool because if I do get my hands on this one, I'm probably going to pair him up with the Siege Ironhide toy, because it seems like that's the color scheme that he's designed for. It looks really cool. In fact, I actually really like these Battle Masters. They're really cool toys to play with, since they can be used with any of the other Siege toys. But the next thing that is really, really exciting is the fact that both Transformers and a movie in the 1980s are both having their 35th anniversary this year, and that's Ghostbusters. And the Ecto-1 is getting released as the Ectotron. And you can see here, it is going to have a full-on robot mode that resembles the Ghostbusters in costume. He comes with Slimer, and it's a really cool looking toy. The box is a classic G1 style box. And IDW is doing a limited run for the comics that does a crossover for Ghostbusters and Transformers. And this is something that I'm excited about because, for one, I love the original Ghostbusters films. There's only 2 Ghostbusters movies, by the way, only 2. And they came out in the 80s, and the third one is coming out. And so I'm excited for this comic book series as well. You can see from the images, it just looks really cool. This big giant battle scene with the Ghostbusters fighting the different Transformers, Devastator and Grimlock, and what looks like a Ghostbusters colored Optimus Prime, which probably just a miscolor, but it is what it is. It's cool. And this final image is of Gozer the Gozerian, and she is modeled after, a Sunbow female Transformer. Very much reminds me of Chromia, just in the way that her body and head shape is. And the 2 Hellhounds that are next to her remind me of G1 Horrible. So if we ever get toys of Horrible, they can easily recolor it into 2 Hellhounds. And the background that is used should be very familiar to people who have watched the 1986 Transformers the movie. When you go through the O of Transformers, then the movie, you go through the O and it looks like that background. And if you've been watching my channel for a long time, you'll know that most of my videos I used that background until this year when I started using a different background. And I picked up on that right away. It was so cool, and I'm really excited to read this comic book. And I'm excited for that. Now in Japan, they are doing Mazinger Z versus Transformers, whereas we're getting Ghostbusters versus Transformers. They're getting Mazinger Z, and they're doing a manga crossover, and that looks really cool as well. You know, I've never seen Mazinger Z. I've not seen the anime. I've only seen like clips shown in different people's videos, or you know, that I think that you can probably watch it online. I probably should watch it. I do love giant robots, so it's an excuse to watch it, and then kind of get a gist of what Mazinger Z is all about. I like Gundam, I like Transformers, I like, you know, pretty much giant robots, so I should be excited to go off and watch this. And this final bit of Transformers news that I want to share with you, that we do have a little bit of information about, not a lot, is the fact that they are going to be producing a brand new Transformers cartoon exclusive to Netflix for the War for Cybertron trilogy. I'm going to guess that it's going to use the Siege toys and whatever next year's, you know, portion of the War for Cybertron trilogy is, and it's going to be exclusive to Netflix, very much like the Voltron Legendary Defender cartoon, and we do know that it is going to be using some of the writers from Transformers Cyberverse. It's going to be produced by Rooster Teeth and Polygon Pictures. I hope it's good. I don't know too much about Rooster Teeth, other than the fact that I believe that they produced, what is it called? Ruby. I think I've only seen like one episode of that, so I hope the animation in that is good, and that the writing is good as well. If we know anything about Cyberverse, it's probably going to be a good show. I'll wait until we start seeing some images before I get excited at all about it, but I do know that it's going to take place on Cybertron before they come to Earth, and it's probably going to be like this, a similar storyline to what they're going to be doing in the IDW comics. We'll see where they go from it. So that pretty much covers all the Transformers news that came out at New York Toy Fair. I want to thank you very much for being patient with me. I hope to get more Transformers news to you guys as soon as possible, instead of waiting a week and a half because I'm sick. And you can probably tell I'm still congested and I still got it in my nose, but I'm getting past it. And but I want to know what you guys think. Leave your thoughts in the comments section below. You know, like this video, subscribe, share it with other people. Be sure to follow me on Facebook, Twitter. If you can, support me on Patreon. And as always, guys, until next time, till all are one.